What's up, Pirates? Wraith here with Awaken TCG, and today we're going to be going over Gecko, Moria versus Katakuri. This is actually one of my matches that I had in the Eggman double box tourney that I ended up winning, but we're going to go over this match because I think this was our closest match, or one of our closest. This is round 2 barely, and you're going to see it's Katakuri, right? So Katakuri is always very scary. Let me mute this real quick, and we are on full screen, so we're just going to go ahead and take a look. I mean, this match, so as you can see, I start off with the Great Eruption. A lot of the times, that's kind of what you want to do if you don't have, any other play. You want to do it just to get something in trash, cycle a card. Maybe you're looking for something. You don't have a 3-Dom play. So I tend to Great Eruption. In this matchup, if you do end up going second, you probably want to save on to that Great Eruption just because your opponent on 3-Don is probably going to swing 5 Pero. And then on 4-Don, you go Great Eruption into leader ability, Absalom, KO the Pero. Like, let them draw, that's fine. Just get rid of the board. And then they probably Gadatsu, but then you can, counter that with a Hina into another Absalom. So he grabs a 7-Mom on his 2-Don turn. Now it is my turn 2 on 3-Don. You have some interesting plays here, but more often than not, you probably just want to play an Absalom. Not an Absalom. You want to play a Perona. Here, I think Hogback was actually my only option, unfortunately. So, I mean, you still want to swing and get a body out. I think that's very important. And you want to go first in this matchup, just so your opponent on Katakuri doesn't have the 5-Don Gadatsu play, because that play is so lethal. You want to be swinging 6Ks at him as often as possible. If you're on 4-Don and you go Borsellino swing 5, they're going to give you a quick 1K and go next, right? They're going next turn. And then that Borsellino always feels kind of bad because it gets a Marut at the end if they just ignore it. So, but then if you swing with it, they can go 1 on Katakuri, swing 7 at the Borsa. Now they're getting cards from your hand. So he goes on 4-Don for a pudding, swings 5. I know how these matches go, so sometimes it's good to counter out early. I think this one in particular, I didn't have a good 1K target to give. I think I had like 2 2s, so I was like, you know what, I'll just take it. It's still very early. His board isn't menacing. Like we're in a good spot, right? So we're about to hit 6-Don. Now on 6-Don, I think in most matchups, you just want to go Hina into leader effect, regardless if you can do anything. But that's on 6. We are at 5 actually here. I forgot we were going first. So we definitely have the better turn order. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 is definitely the way to go against Katakuri. You want to be aggressive. So I swing 5 and he gives me a 1. I go 2 for brand new. Go ahead and take a Kuzan, which was my only target. And then I'm gonna go ahead and leader ability. If Moria has 3-Don up, they're 100% gonna Moria ability. I think I'm debating on what I want to play. I'm always asking card size, but I think here he was under 5, so I didn't want to play the Perona. Trash Kuzan, which is a brick. And unfortunately, we didn't have a better target, but, Perona, it is no effect. And he's going to take that, so that is first life. No trigger, very lucky. I'm saying I'm lucky when he's the one not getting trigger. When he should be the lucky one if it is a trigger. But I mean, to be honest, this matchup's scary. Like if that's a Pero right there, now I'm in hot water because I'm already at 4 life. He can go swing 7, swing 5, 5, play 5-Don for a Gadatsu, boom, pop one of my units. Which would hurt. Luckily he did not trigger, but he's at 6-Don, meaning he's going to 8 next Don, meaning he's going to try to 7-Mom next turn. So I need to counter out of these because I'm at 4 life. If you are at 4 life and they 7-Mom, you just trash and go to 3. If you are at 3 life, then you're forced to trash and go to 2. 2 life is very scary. That means you have to block out every single attack from then on out, because if you're ever at 1, you are at 0 because of a card called Reject. Very, very strong card. So you can see here, I blocked the 5. I think I blocked the 7 as well. Gave him 2 cards, and then he goes Kiku. I'm like, that's fine. Next turn, he is going to 7-Mom. I'm at 7-Don, so I have a good amount of options here. That Kiku posing a problem. knowing that I have to trash next turn because he's going to 7 mom, meaning that Kiku's going to be live. I would try to KO it this turn if I could. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the means to in hand. And then you can see right up there, I'm always organizing my trash. Like, it makes my game plan a lot more clear, and I don't have to do, you know, this shifting through the trash every other turn to figure out what I have, right? So if you're playing this deck, I'm going to recommend that. Just put the 4 drops on top, leave the Sabos, Morias, and spells on the side. 4 drops on top, two drops, and 1 drops on the bottom. It's that simple. And then you can like take a glance at all times and know exactly what you could do with what your cards are in hand. So it's always good to do that. I mean, that's something I do. You don't have to do it, but I think it's very important to have a little bit of organization just to, you know, on long tournaments, like you got to be thinking this whole time. So if it just makes it a little easier for you, it's not too bad. So 7 Dawn, we're going to hog back, put 2 cards back, and grab a Moria. No, we grab a Absalom. So I believe we already have a Moria in hand is why we're why we grab the Moria. So, or why we grab the Absalom is because we probably already have a Moria in hand for the most part. But this is one of our bigger turns. We're swinging 6 leader ability. We're swinging 5. We're gonna swing 5 again. Oh no, we just played the hog back. I forgot. So here I play a Kuzan. Kuzan is such a good card to play the turn before that they 7 mom. Because if they just 7 mom, then they can't KO the Kuzan, which means you get a free KO on that big mom, right? So basically a free kill. Because on Adon, you just, you know, Helmeppo it, Lucci or Absalom, and it dies for the most part. But it is getting sketchy here. I'm low on cards. He still has a nice board. He wants to 7 mom, I know, so he's probably going to go 5, 6, 7 mom, which means I have the counter, which is going to hurt. And as you can see, he's going for my life instead of my unit. I'm going to counter out. I'm like 5, 8 cost. I can just Moria, bring this Absalom back. No big deal. So he is swinging 7 now. Or he's swinging 6 now. I definitely know what's coming. Like there's no other play here. You just swing 7 with leader, play 7 mom. Yeah. I had no other option here. I didn't have a 2K, so I counter out with 2 1s just because I know I have to take the next 2. So I couldn't afford to take 3 because then I'm at 1, right? So he swings 7, I take, and then yeah, he's just gonna go 7 mom, which is the play, which is the correct play here. Luckily for me, I have the Kuzan up on board still, so very nice. And then I trash a Great Eruption, and then he passes. So I am at 9 Dawn now. I can do a lot of plays. I think my hand is kind of mid. But, you know, priority is get that Lin out of the way and just survive one more turn is basically what I'm thinking. Because if he has reject, it's looking real bad for me. So I got to do my best to limit his options on the board. If you're ever in this position, it's hard to win from here. Because he basically has it set, right? I have to have perfect cards in hand. You know, Moria, pop 2 bodies, which would be very ideal. But I don't think I do at this point. Or maybe I have a Moria, but maybe that's not the play. Let's see here. You know, we're getting close to the end. We're definitely getting close to the end. At this point, it's barely the second round, so I'm like, you know, I'm kind of chilling still. You know, hoping that I can win this thing. But just, you know, taking my time to really look at everything. So I swing 5 at leader with Kuzan, minusing the Linlin, and he goes ahead and gives me a 3K counter event, which goes -2 in hand, which I'm looking at him like he's crazy. But then as soon as he did that, I know, I'm like, oh, he does not have counter in hand. Like, okay, this is really, really good for me. No counter in hand means I can just swing low, use my Dawn up for a Moria if I need to. 2 cards in hand. I think at this point I'm debating if I want to play Moria or not. But I think it's always the play. Sometimes I'll just sit here, do some math in my head, see what I can KO. Because I'm not sure if I have a Lucci. I do have a Lucci. But I would need one Don, like a Spell or a Suru, on the actual Linlin, and then I can Helmeppo the Perospero or the Kiku, but probably not the Kiku because he heals. If that's what I had in hand. But if I use this Don to swing here, that means I didn't have the cost reducer. Yeah, so I don't have the cost reducer, but it looks like I'll be able to just Moria regardless and pop the 7 Mom at the very least. Because if that 7 Mom stays alive with a reject available, it's game over. You just touch 1 to Linlin, swing 9. And if I don't block, I'm at 1 life and I lose. If I do block, now I'm low in counter. He still has another go. So I swing 6 and he takes. And luckily for him, it is actually a trigger. So, you know, not the best for me. Could have definitely been the ender. But luckily, I pulled through. I don't know if anyone watched the VOD or watching my stream, but it definitely helped out here. Yeah, so we just go Lucci, Helmeppo, and we go ahead and pop the Linlin because that is our only target with the pudding. So him having a very, very scary board now. I mean, I'm 2 life. Like, I don't know how many cards I had in hand there. Maybe like 3. But it's very, 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 very rough right now because I obviously have no counters in hand. I'm low on cards. He just triggered a 3rd body that's going to swing for game at me because I have no blockers. So he has 4 swings. He only needs to hit 3 times. And if he has reject, he only has to hit 2 times. Which sucks. I think he does misplay a little bit here. If he has reject in hand, just swing 7 on leader and then swing 7 on Kiku, and then I'm out of cards. Then you go 5 on Pero, reject, yeah, you win the game. That's one way to end it. There's a couple of ways that you could end it for sure. But my opponent definitely hesitating on what he wants to do exactly. And the reason I say he misplays is because if we speed it up here, you can see he puts 2 Don onto his Katakuri, which means he's swinging 8, right? Which means I can give him 2 cards, just like how I would go in 7K, and I give him 2 2s, right? Which means he wasted a Don. He wasted a Don of power because he could have just swung 7 and got 2 cards anyway. So that 1 Don is definitely going to come back to bite him. Let's go ahead and speed it up a little more. So he's counting up his Don. He's kind of faking out like if he had reject, but he just keeps counting up his Don, deciding what he wants to actually do with his turn. Like I said, this game came down to the wire. Like, yeah, I have a crazy board, but all he needs to do is hit me once and reject and then go for a game. I have 2 cards in hand. His best option is to go 7 7 7 7 6. So yeah, 6 7 7 would have been his swing pattern. Probably go 7s first so you can reject, and then. So at this point, he's trying to bait me out. He's putting 4 Don together. I'm like, well, if he has reject, I lose. Because I know I cannot counter out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12K swing. If he has, oh no, but then he rests 4, so 2. So 8K, it would be a 5K and then an 8K swing. And he probably would have it. See what he does here. Oh yeah, he ends up just going 3 and 3 and going 8 and 9. I think here in hand I actually have a 2, or I have 1 1 1. I think I either have a 2 and a 1 or a 1 1 1. Oh, he swings 9-9, so I have exactly 9k counter in hand. I have a 2-1-1, and so I can't counter out. I forget Hiomaru's. So I have a 2-1-1, and then I get a 1k from life to make me, at 10. So if he would have swung 8, I would have had the 9k. It wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go to 10. So he did right by swinging 9-9, because if he goes 8-10, I have it anyway. But that was the game. Very, very close here. He passes his turn. So back to me. Now this is where I can just end the game. I know at this point, I'm like, there's nothing he can have to win. So I just go ahead and swing 9. That way I can still play something for my hand if need be. As soon as he takes, I'm like, okay, no blockers on board. I'm going to just go ahead and shove. You have 4 cards in hand. Multiply that by 2. That's 8. You have 8,000 worth of counter max. And it's going to be the game. Very, 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 very rough when Katakuri's high roll, or you don't see much. That 7 mom is dangerous. If they ever 10 mom, it's not GG, but you better have a plan for that 10 mom. If it doesn't leave the board the same turn it, gets played, you are cooked. Especially because of reject. You're forced to take a 12k swing. If you have no blockers on board, you're taking that 12k. I'm sorry, you're not blocking that. But that was just a quick match. Gecko Moria versus Katakuri. One of my toughest for sure. Still trying to test out against Kata. People say is Moria favored, but it's still, regardless, it's still a scary matchup. Even though it might be slightly Moria favored, it's still very scary. Just like Saka versus Moria. Saka is probably like, what do you mean Saka's favored into Moria? Yeah, it probably is a bit, but it's still a very, very scary matchup. But I appreciate you guys watching. This was my run. I have Santa Clara this weekend. Hopefully I can get a vlog for you guys. I'm about to, work on some other content because I'm a little behind. I haven't had time. I have locals today. I got to do a bunch of stuff. I don't even know what deck I'm playing, what I have to do. I'm going to figure that out in the next 10 minutes before I have to leave. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.